Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Caitlin Shetterly, and I'm the editor-in-chief of Frenchly, an online francophile and franglophone arts and culture news magazine that can be found at frenchly.us. We strive to bring you the world with a French twist. I'm really excited to spend an hour together today, exploring the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region of southwestern France. Nouvelle-Aquitaine is the largest region of France and is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean and the Pyrenees Mountains, a region known for its incredible food, slow life, and natural beauties, among other things, which we will hear about today. Visit Frenchly.us to find stories about the city of Limoges, Bordeaux, Cognac, Spanish border cities and towns, the Lascaux Caves, and more. Today, we're going to have two live tours. The first will be of the Cité du Vin in Bordeaux. The Cité du Vin is a unique cultural facility that explains everything about the history and culture of winemaking and wine consuming through the ages. Secondly, we will go to the Lascaux Caves in the Dordogne, an impressive network of caves that house prehistoric paintings of animals that are at least 17,000 years old. Our tour guides for today are Pauline Versas from the Cité du Vin in Bordeaux and Olivier Châteauret from the Lascaux Caves. During and after both tours, we will take your questions. But first, here's a little video we at Frenchly have made for the event. Turns out, we Americans don't know much about this region or its weird words.
I'd say the wine.
Good wine.
Wine.
Wine. Brigitte Bardot.
The architecture is very, very old school.
Oh, it's an UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Doesn't ring a bell. No.
Or maybe we know more than we think. If you want to watch the entire video, please visit our YouTube channel on our website or at frenchly.us. Now, we're going to start with the Cité du Vin and Pauline. Pauline, over to you.
Hello, Caitlin, and hello, all of you watching us today. Thank you for being with us. We are very happy to welcome you here in Bordeaux. It's a great stop to do if you plan to come to France soon. Bordeaux is a lovely city, and what I will talk to you about today is Cité du Vin. As you said, Kathleen, is a museum on the cultures of wine and wines of the world. That's very important to us here, for us here. It's the Museum of Wines of the World. We are located in city center of Bordeaux, very easy to access also from the US, from New York, or we have different direct flights to Paris, or it's very easy to access. And here I am in the gardens of this museum. As you can see, it's a lovely place to visit and to stay in. The weather is beautiful today, so I hope you will enjoy this tour. Let me just tell you also that you could arrive to Cité du Vin by boat, because just there is a dock, and the river Garonne is just next to this amazing building. So I suppose you wonder about the architecture of this building. Let me tell you a bit more about it, and in a few minutes I will show you a film as well of the building from from the sky. The shape is amazing, and you can see the colors as well. It's been designed by a couple of French architects called XTU. They are based in Paris, and the inside of Cité du Vin has been designed by a British company called Cassenman. So this museum opened 6 years ago in 2016, but we are still very new in Bordeaux. We are like an unmissable place to visit, because the place is so beautiful to see. And as you will see in a couple of minutes, the inside as well, the permanent tour and the exhibition we have at the moment called Picasso and Wine is very unique.
It's really, really beautiful building. I saw the video and the pictures. Can you tell us a little bit about what happens in the Cité du Vin? Like, when you come to the museum, what is it that you first see when you enter, and what do you expect to experience as you walk through?
Absolutely. Again, as I just said, our topic is history, culture, geography, all those topics about culture of wines of the world. So the first thing you see when you enter this museum is a wine cellar, of course. We have a beautiful wine cellar. You will see some images in a minute. An amazing wine cellar with more than 15,000 bottles coming from everywhere in the world. You know, wine is really a worldwide topic, and since 6,000 years until today, it's a very, very vast topic all around the world. And this is what we focus on, this story about wine all around the world. So this is the first thing you see when you enter. And of course, you can buy wine, because as soon as you enter here, you feel like drinking wine. I must be honest, you feel like tasting wine and discovering wine that you don't know. So this is the first thing you see. We also have a lovely boutique, you know, a gift shop for souvenir for yourself or for your friends, with lovely glasses and with lovely food all around wine, of course, with books as well. And then the next step is the first floor. And the first floor of Cité du Vin is an exhibition. And once a year, we have a great exhibition. And at the moment, we have a very unique exhibition on Picasso and wine, as I said. We have about 80 pieces of art, including 60 pieces of art from the master himself, you know. So we are very proud of this exhibition at the moment. And we had, 10,000 visitors since it opened only 15 days ago. So we are very happy about it, and we hope you can have a look at it. Then, if you continue the visit, you go to the permanent tour on the second floor. It's really the heart of the visit of Cité du Vin. And what I propose you now, Caitlin, is a little trip in this permanent tour. I propose you a little film. It's very short. It's very interactive. You will see this permanent tour is a very immersive experience.
That sounds great. We'd love to watch it. And I'd like to encourage, if we can encourage our viewers to ask questions in the comments, and we can try to get to those questions after we watch the video.
Of course, all this content that you will see is available in English.
It seems like we've lost Pauline.
You?
If anybody has questions, oh, here she is. Hi, Pauline.
Hello?
Hi.
I can hear you, yes.
Good to see you again. What were those things that people were smelling into? Those.
That's right. So that's the permanent tour. So that's one of the activities in the permanent tour. It's a great table, a large table with many different senses you can smell. Basically, it is explaining you all the smells you can get in the wine, because I mean all the taste, the smells and the different tastes you can get in the wine are very. It's a vast range of different tastes, basically, and this is what we explain in this particular area of the permanent tour. But just to let you know, this is all very easy to understand. I mean, we are really talking about wine for all. It's not something for connoisseur, not at all. It's very easy to understand. And as I said, you have an audio guide in English to guide you through.
And where are we right now, Pauline?
So we are in the Belvedere. So we are at the 8th floor of the Cité du Vin. It's really the high point of the visit. Every visitor can access this place with a ticket. And at the end of the visit, they can choose out of 15 wines from the world. They can have one glass of wine and discover a wine from everywhere in the world. And as you see, we have sommelier. They help visitors to choose their wine, and they explain about the wine they have chosen. We get those wines from partnerships. We have 50 partners throughout the world, and they send us their best wines so that our visitor can discover different wines. And of course, we also have French wines. We also have Bordeaux wines. This is really around the world.
And what can one expect to experience when they come into this part of the tour? Is there a place to go sit down, or do they stand at this bar? How does it work?
I would say there are two great experiences in this place. First of all, the place itself. You see, I mean, the place is amazing. I don't know if you can see the chandelier from here. I think there are 3,000 bottles up there. So first of all, the visual experience is very unique. We have an oak table here where the glasses and the bottles are on. I mean, the place in itself is beautiful. And of course, the view. I don't know if you can see the view from here, but we are on the 8th floor. We are 35 meters high. So the view on Bordeaux is very unique. And today, as I said, the weather is beautiful. So it's the perfect day to come and visit. And the second experience here is, of course, the wine tasting. Because really, after 2 hours or even an hour visiting this museum, you really feel like tasting a glass of wine.
That's nice. And have you ever gone as a guest yourself and sat down and experienced it? And if so, what is your favorite thing to do when you come to visit the museum? Other than working there, have you ever tried or had a good friend or a family member come as a guest? And what was the most exciting for them or interesting?
Yes, absolutely. It's a very interesting question, because actually visiting the place I would say in a personal way, when you have time during the weekend with your family and children, it's very different, because you take your time and you always discover new things. And this is what I love the most about this place, is that it's very rich. The permanent tour you saw, there are so many different things to see, to smell, to listen to. The content is very rich, And also, what is very interesting is to come with children, because of course they don't drink wine, but our topic is really discovering the taste, explaining young public that the taste is different, that the way you taste, for example, if they taste juices, it's very interesting to ask them to taste a juice blind and to try and find which fruit it is, this kind of exploring the taste. And I think for young public, it is very interesting. And by the way, here at the Belvedere, we offer a lovely organic grape juice for those who wouldn't like to drink wine. Because again, you don't need to like wine, you don't need to drink wine to visit this place. We are about culture, really.
And can one also have food as they taste the different wines?
Absolutely. Two different options. We have three restaurants in the Cité du Vin. Open access, obviously, you don't need a ticket to come and have lunch or dinner. On the ground floor where we were earlier, we have a brasserie with a lovely terrace. And on the 7th floor, so just a little bit underneath us, there is a panoramic view restaurant, lovely restaurant as well, where you can have lunch or dinner with an amazing view. And also we propose workshops, tasting workshops, almost every day or at least once a week. Food and wine pairing. So for example, chocolate and wine, or fish and wine, or all different topics, you see, to discover, again, different ways to appreciate wine and taste wine. Always in a very accessible way, always very simple to all.
Oh, it sounds great. I can see that kids would get really into the smelling part, those funny
Yes,
little gadgets. And it seems like employing the nose would be similar to, smelling perfume and sort of trying to tease out the different smells. And kids have such pure noses. It would be great to bring children just to that part.
absolutely.
For those of you who want to ask questions, I just now was told how to do this. I've never used this platform before, but if you go all the way to the right of your screen, there's a private chat or comment, and there's a little box at the bottom, and you can write a question or write it on the and hit return if you want to ask a question, and I can then read it and ask Pauline. So, Pauline, what else would you tell us? I understand there's an exhibit right now with Picasso.
Absolutely.
Picassos. Can you tell us about those?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell us about the Picasso exhibit that the Cité du Vin has right now?
Sure. So it will be shown until the 28th of August, and it does explore the link between Picasso and the wine and the alcohols, because we know that wine and alcohol was a big influence for Picasso in his work. You may know that this great artist has produced a lot of different pieces of art during all his life, from very young, at 15 years old, until the very end, until he was dead in 1973. And we explore in this exhibition how wine and alcohol has influenced his work. And what is great also about this exhibition, apart from it's the first Picasso exhibition in Bordeaux ever, so we are very proud, but also there is a very wide range of different pieces of art, in a way that we have ceramic, we have painting, we have drawing, we have sculptures. So it's very rich, really. It's very unique.
Sounds wonderful.
So for those who could visit during the summer, it will be on.
Oh, terrific. Somebody has a question, which is, do you need to buy tickets ahead of time?
It's always better. You can definitely book online. We have an e-shop on laciteduvin.com. And it's always better to book online, either for the permanent tour or for the exhibition. You can get a combined ticket as well, but definitely we would advise to book online.
Okay.
In advance.
And, somebody else is asking, who provides the funds for the museum? And I just should also tell everybody that you should ask your comments on Facebook or on YouTube. There is a comment section on both if you're watching on those platforms. Thank you.
It's a very interesting question, because in fact we are privately run, but we have a very unique, again, business model, because Cité du Vin is run and developed by a foundation called Foundation for Wine and for Wine and Culture for Wine and Civilization Cultures, and we run with our private funds, so selling tickets, but also corporate events that we organize. We privatize some spaces here in Cité du Vin, and also very important, as a foundation, we have patrons, sponsors, private patron sponsors. The building, when it was built almost 10 years ago now, was financed partially by the town hall here in Bordeaux, by the region, by Europe, and also with, again, private funding sponsors. So we are very thankful for those patrons, because they allow us, thanks to their support, to provide such qualitative content today, like, for example, the Picasso exhibition. And let me tell you that we have a sister foundation called American Friends of Cité du Vin, located in New York City. So we have many American friends here, and again, we are very thankful, because they help us providing what we do today. So if you're interested to know more about these American friends, you can go on the website, and we'll be happy, or you can contact us, and we will be happy to explain you all the actions of this foundation located in New York.
Cool, that's great. Now, I think you may have touched on this before, but can you tell us a little bit about the wines and where they're coming from? Are they coming from all over the world, or just specifically Bordeaux, or? What
Sure.
can one taste? Can one compare wines from different regions in France or different places in the world?
Sure. This is really our DNA, wines of the world. Definitely. This is really what we wanted from the beginning, to be, a place where you can taste wines from everywhere in the world. So today, the range, the selection of wine changes almost every day here at the Belvedere, because, we always change what we offer. And we have every day a selection of 15 wines, including 10 wines of the world. So to give you an example, today we have Swiss wine, Lebanese wine, German wine. What else have we got? Italian wine and also French wine. So from Bordeaux, but from also South France, Roussillon, Gigondas. Here we are, and we have obviously red, white, sparkling, rosé. So we have a really wide range of wines from everywhere in the world.
Can we see that? Can we see that menu?
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't know if you can see it.
And could you or the bartender tell us what's the difference between, say, a Lebanese wine and a wine from Bordeaux?
I think. Can you see it, Caitlin, or is it?
It's
yeah.
still
Can you
too
see?
far. Not really, but I gather the image of it, the picture of the glasses.
Okay. So. Obviously, the typicity of a wine from Lebanon or France would be very different. The sommelier here, they explain this to the public. If a visitor choose a wine, they will get an explanation on what they will drink. But again, always very simple and always very easy to access for everyone. We are not here to make it too complicated. We are here to enjoy, and most importantly, even for the connoisseurs, even for those who know their wines, when they come here, often they tell us, I didn't even know they were making wine in Switzerland or in Lebanon. Everyone has something to discover here, and this is what's exciting.
Would you be willing to translate for the sommelier? Could you ask him to tell us the differences between, say, some of the wines that are on the menu today, and so we could hear, like, a Lebanese wine has these characteristics, or this one does, and this one has this. Would you be willing to let us meet him and we could learn a little bit from him right now?
Yeah, sure. I could ask him, yeah. Est-ce que vous pourriez nous dire la différence entre un vin du Liban et un vin de Bordeaux, par exemple?
Should we speak in English?
Sure. I don't know if they will hear you. Caitlin, let us know if you can hear.
He can hear you. He sounds good.
Actually, there's a technique that tends to be like different in both ways, but the grapes could be similar. What about Lebanon? Here is a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Syrah. The region is completely different. The Valley du Beca, it's not really in the side of the Mediterranean. It's a little bit closer, like in the inland. And there is a chain of mountains that will help keeping the acidity, which will be like the main challenge in the region. The wine spends some time in oak and a little affinage in amphora. So that is going to be like super different to the wines that are being made right now, traditional in Bordeaux. On the other hand, you will see that the Bordelaise, that is 100% Petit Verdot, not very common from the region. Usually you will find a majority of blends. And we're doing vintages a little bit iconic. 2012 for the Bordeaux, 2013 for the Lebanese. Donc, yeah, they tend to be in a very nice way of evolution right now in 2022.
Great, thank you so much.
Would you like to try some?
What would you like to choose, Caitlin?
I'll try the Lebanese wine. And what would I eat with it? That's what I want to know.
So we will have the Lebanese wine, please. And what would we eat with it? What would you advise?
Go for some meat, absolutely. Yeah. Something gamey, something meaty. A nice steak will pair well with this. 2013.
Thank you.
Valley du Beca.
Cheers.
And Syrah.
It's marvelous. Did you hear the wine pairing suggestions?
Yeah, so something gamey, a steak.
That's right. Exactly.
Right? And if I'm really in love with this wine, can I go downstairs and buy it afterwards?
Absolutely. So you would not necessarily find exactly the same label, but you would definitely find Lebanese wine in the wine cellar. Absolutely, yeah.
Great. So we have another question from another viewer. Can you tell us more about the design of the building, exterior and interior, as you drink your wine?
Sure. Yes, the design is, we really wanted something different in Bordeaux from the beginning, because for those who know Bordeaux, Bordeaux has quite a traditional city center in terms of facade. It's 18th, 19th century, beautiful facade. It's very classical. Sometimes we call Bordeaux the little Paris. So we are very lucky because the city center is beautiful. It's a beautiful historic city center. But for this building, Cité du Vin, we wanted something new, like an event architecture, if you like. So we had if you like, we asked different architects to send us a project, and we chose this one for different reasons. Because first we thought the colors of the building was beautiful. The architects, they tell you that they use the colors of the river. You have the golden, you have the gray, you have all the different lights that you find in the river. You can find them in the Cité du Vin. The materials, they used glass, wood, and metal. Basically, is all that you can find in a cellar. They really respected these different materials that you find in the cellar or in the vineyard. And also, those architects that we chose, they had this idea of the Belvedere, the platform view at the 8th floor. And we thought it was a great idea that at the end of the tour, the visitors, they could enjoy their wine and have this view on Bordeaux. Because I don't know if you can see, but here you see the visitors. They're just looking at it. And we have little tablets explaining us what we see. And this is really appreciated by this view.
Great. And you have visitors from all over the world, Pauline?
We do, actually, definitely. So as you can imagine, in the past 2 years, because of the pandemic, we had less international visitors. And we had more French visitors and more Bordelais local people. So we were very happy about it. But in a normal way, we have many international visitors. In the high season, almost 70% of our visitors are from abroad, and we are very happy about it. And this is the reason why also all our contents are is traducted in 8 languages. So again, Cité du Vin is a very place accessible to all languages, all ages, from everywhere in the world. And our American visitors are very numerous, because they are, depending on the month, they are our second or third international visitors. So we are always very happy to welcome American visitors in Cité du Vin.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Pauline. I'm really excited for people to come with their families and their kids to drink some organic grape juice and smell at those funky little contraptions and try some wines from all over the world and see that beautiful view. It looks like an amazing place. I love all the bottles on the top of the ceiling up there. Just beautiful. And thank you for being such a good sport and doing this with us today.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Yes. Have a good rest of your day. Now, to our viewers, we're going to watch a video now about Nouvelle-Aquitaine, about all that the region has to offer, and then we're going to go to the Lascaux Caves. So, video now. Welcome back. That was a beautiful video. It's great to see all of those ocean towns and also the different places. Now we're going to go to an exclusive tour right now in the Lascaux Caves. But before we do, I just wanted to mention two things. Someone sent in a question asking if they speak German, will they be able to enjoy the Cité du Vin? I think Pauline answered this question and said they speak many languages there and they're able to do tours in all of them. And then I also wanted to share with you that somebody else wrote in about the Cité du Vin and said that I was there last June. It was an outstanding experience for all the senses. Now we're going to go over to Olivier at the Lascaux Caves. Hi, I'm so excited to hear about this presentation.
Wow.
My family and I
It's a pleasure to receive you here.
My family and I are planning to come to Lascaux in July. And so I'm especially excited about that. My younger son has been interested in cave drawing since he was about 2. So please tell us everything we don't know.
Oh, we need to be quite hard, but don't bother. So my name is Olivier, and well, all of you very welcome to Lascaux Cave. Maybe you know it, but Lascaux Cave, the real one, has been discovered in 1940. It has opened to the public in 1948 and had to be closed in 1963 because it had received too much visitors. Just you to know, in the real one, in 15 years, more than 1 million people went down, and the cave didn't like it, got ill, and has been closed to the public in 1963. Just you to know, today, in 2022, no one can not get inside the cave. It's closed for everyone. So you cannot see Lascaux anymore. But here in Lascaux 4, you can see Lascaux once again, because today we are going to see a perfect representation of Lascaux Cave. It means 2022 is over. We are now back more than 20,000 years ago to see the cave. And that's a great thing about Lascaux 4. You can see the whole cave, the whole message made 20,000 years ago. But please come with me, and we're going to start to discover the first room of the cave. And you can follow me. And to start with, the first animal of the cave. It's an animal, you can see it, that doesn't exist in reality. It's a mix of several ones. And this animal, we don't know what it means. It has a nickname, a strange nickname, because despite of its 2 horns, it has been nicknamed the unicorn. Well, unicorn with 2 horns, it's quite strange. But unicorn is an interesting name. We all know unicorns, but we know they exist in, well, other places, in our dreams, in our imagination. And just have a look there. The cave of Lascaux is starting with one imaginary animal. It means something simple. This cave has been made 20,000 years ago by people with an imagination like our imagination today. Normally, in Lascaux, we talk about prehistory. We don't talk about prehistory. We talk about ourselves. Now you can see the first wall of the first room. And, well, it's beautiful. It's quite simply beautiful. And it's not because I'm walking there, but in Lascaux, you can discover one of the most beautiful places ever made by Homo sapiens. You can see it. It's full of colors, full of movement, full of life. And this cave is famous worldwide. I think, well, you understand why. Now, watching at those paintings. And now, you can see this amazing animal. It's an aurochs. An aurochs, it's a wild bull from prehistory. Just have a look at this animal. If you go from the start of the arm, through the ear, by the back, and it's quite long, till up here, the end of the tail, this animal measures 5 meters and 70 centimeters long. It means something really simple. Here in Lascaux Cave, we are in front of the most important animal in cave art, not in France, not in Europe, but worldwide. And that's one of the reasons why Lascaux is famous. The size of those animals in the first room. They are amazing and they are strong. You can see the strongness. And just have a look here at the eye of this oryx. You are looking at this animal, but with such a strong eye, you may imagine that this animal is looking at you. And if it's looking at you, maybe just have a look here. Maybe it's breathing. Lascaux is a cave about life. And Lascaux is as well a cave about colors. You have three main colors in Lascaux, and you can see them. You have black, and you may imagine black here has been made by charcoal. No, charcoal turns gray. It's made by manganese, a stone. And you can have a look on this tiny horse. It has the three main colors of Lascaux. Black, I was talking to you about, yellow, a yellow ochre, and red, a red ochre as well. Just you to know, those paintings, they were still fresh in 1940. And that's the reason why Lascaux is so famous, as I told you. Those paintings came to us in the way they were 20,000 years ago. I told you, Lascaux is not about prehistory. It's about us. And I will try to give you an example. My friend Dan, who's directing, is going to show you the head of this stag. It's an amazing stag with those amazing unreal antlers. And just have a look at the head of this stag. It has been made on a bump, a natural bump of the wall. And painting the head of this stag on this natural bump of the wall, you may have the feeling that this animal is leaving the wall and coming in your direction. Actually, officially, we are 20,000 years ago. Unofficially, we are in front of the first 3D of humanity. And you have all along the cave, those amazing animals. As you saw, you have aurochs. Now you're watching those stags. You saw some horses. They are the three main animals of Lascaux. Three colors, three animals in a, I won't lie to you, a small cave. But in Lascaux, in this small cave, we have more than 10% of all the cave art worldwide. And well, it's always a pleasure to receive you here because once inside this place, when you look at the beauty, the intelligence, the emotion you can feel in this place, you can see that this place has been made, well, by us, by people like us, and honestly, for people like us. There is a message about emotion, about feelings, about beauty in Lascaux. We are talking about humanity and beauty in this case. But I know I'm talkative, Kathleen. So if you have questions, don't hesitate.
Can you tell us the story, Olivier, of how the cave was discovered in 1940?
Yes, Kathleen, it's a funny story. It started in the 8th of September 1940, close to us on the hill of Lascaux. A young boy named Marcel Ravida is walking with his dog called Robo, when suddenly a rabbit appears. What can happen? The rabbit escapes, the dog follows the rabbit, and they both go inside a small hole, a hole made by a tree that had fallen 1 week before because of a storm. But the dog is stuck inside. So Marcel goes in there, and with his hands, he managed to save Robo. The story ends well for the dog, don't bother. But Marcel is going to throw some stones inside the hole, and he hears a lot of noise, some echo, meaning there is something bigger. Marcel is really curious and decides to come back. And he comes back 4 days later with 3 friends of him, Jacques Marçal, Georges Aniel, Simon Coincas. They were teenagers. They go to this new hall, they go inside, and after 1 hour, they are going to fall inside this painted cave. They had just discovered Lascaux. Well, they want to have their cave. They don't want to share this discovery with other ones. So they promise it's going to be their secret until their death. 3 days after, of course, everyone in the city knows about Lascaux. And the cave has been authenticated in September 1940 and opened to the public, as I told you, after World War II in 1948. But it's a story we talk about during our tours.
Was
And you can even, oh, sorry, Catherine. And you can see, sorry, Catherine, you can see some pictures of those four boys after the visit of the cave.
Was the cave damaged at all during the war, or was it threatened at all, or was it kept safe since it was underground?
Well, we were there in the southwest of France, in Périgord, in the so-called free zone under the Vichy regime. So actually, nothing has happened during World War II. We know that some prehistorians from Germany went here. They have studied the cave, but they keep it in peace. So nothing has happened during World War II, except few visits for the prehistorians I was talking to you about, and some people from the southwest of France.
And are you in the actual Lascaux cave, or are you in the recreation? And when was that made, and what is the difference?
Well, officially, I'm in the recreation, opened in 2016. But actually, I am like in the real one. I don't know the real one. That's closed in 1963. But I have the luck to receive everyday people knowing the real one. And I do promise you, Kathleen, they're screaming here because they are back 20 when they were younger. And here, that's a great thing. You can see the real one. You have on the French website of Ministry of Culture a virtual tour of the real one. I will tell you, you cannot see the difference. So there, we are back in a perfect copy of the real one. We are back in the real one.
Somebody has a question about the difference between
yes, of course.
Lascaux and Chauvet. So if I was supposed to go between the two, if I was choosing between the two, why would I choose Lascaux, and what's the difference?
Well, Chauvet is a cave in the south of France that has been discovered 20 years ago. Chauvet is closed, and you can see Chauvet 2, a replica. It's a big cave, Chauvet, and it's a beautiful cave made 40,000 years ago. Us, Lascaux, we have been made 20,000 years ago. But Lascaux, just you to know, and I don't want to compare with another cave, but I'm walking here. On less than 200 meters, you can see 10% of all the cave art worldwide. And that's great thing about Lascaux. It's a small cave, but it's, well, the richest one on Earth. But Lascaux is a really beautiful place, and Chauvet is a beautiful place as well. But, well, I prefer Lascaux, of course.
And what do you think that these drawings tell us about humanity and the history of humanity? What do viewers who come in feel? What is their emotional state when they see these cave drawings? What does it change for them about their perspective as being human beings on the planet and the world? What do you hear, and what do you feel from people?
Well, I have the luck to do tours in several languages. And I receive people from all over the world, and we receive people from all over the world, and with different culture. And we can see that there's a language between us, all Homo sapiens, this language of emotion, this language of beauty. But, well, we have cliché, as you know, and we may imagine before visiting Lascaux that 20,000 years ago, the human beings were different from us. I would now say wilder than us, or less civilized than us. And when you look at this beauty, at this love of beauty, and we can see that 20,000 years ago, the people were there, the so-called Cro-Magnons, were people like us. And as I told you, Lascaux is not about prehistory, it's about humanity. We all share this love of beauty, all of us Homo sapiens. Not depending from our culture or our countries. There's a language about beauty in Lascaux.
And tell us, you said that the drawings are made from 3 materials.
Yes.
There's an ochre. Can you tell me again what those were?
So yellow and black are made by ochre. And yellow and red, sorry, are made by ochre. And black is not charcoal. Otherwise, you would have gray around us. You have a strong black because it has been made by a stone, an art stone called manganese.
Ah,
So we have only mineral pigments in Lascaux.
ah, okay. And how were the caves being affected by human beings coming to the real caves? Was it their breath? Was it cameras? What was it that was
Yeah,
damaging them?
their breath actually. In Lascaux, like in a big part of the southwest of France, you are in limestone. And when limestone meets CO2, it does a chemical reaction. It
Mm.
starts white and shiny. It means you had in the 60s small, really small white dots on the paintings. And to end with this disease called the white disease, we had to stop the tours. No one breathing inside the cave, no more issues on the paintings. And there, of course, in Lascaux, as you may imagine, we have no limestone in the paintings or the walls. So you can breathe easily inside the cave.
How do we book to get there? Do we do it online? How do we get tickets?
Yeah, you can go online on the website of Lascaux and you can choose a visit, a tour in French, in English, of course. And we offer at least 2 tours in English every day during the summer. Around 6 or 7 tours in English a day. We offer tours in German, in Italian, in Spanish, in Portuguese. For the groups, you can book your tour and have a tour in the language you want. You have there the cave, and you have other activities inside the center, like the workshop, a place where you can see once again the paintings. And there you will find my colleagues. And as you may imagine, we all speak English in Lascaux. You have a gallery of imagination with a lot of paintings made by modern artists, inspired by prehistory. And there, once again, you can meet guides who speak in English. So we speak in English, and you can book your tours on the website of Lascaux and choose your language.
And if we were to come, should we book or should we consider coming for how much time do we need? One day or two days? Should we stay in the area and spend a night and then come again in the morning? How is it a 1 day thing?
Yeah, it's a 1 day thing in Lascaux. You can book a tour of 1 hour and 50 minutes long. If you want to learn about prehistory, we have a park called Le Tot, where you can see the animals, but this time alive. And you can practice. For instance, you can do your own paintings in Le Tot with the pigments they were using 20,000 years ago. You can do your grease lamps, the way they were enlightening the cave 20,000 years ago. So you can spend the whole day in the morning, Lascaux, for instance, in the afternoon, Le Tot. And I do promise you, in Le Tot, try to imagine for your kids, they can do their own cave art and they can bring it back home. So at least 2 hours, I won't lie to you, we are quite talkative in Lascaux. So if you have to stay 1 hour and a half with us, you are going to stay 2 hours. 2 hours with us and all day long in Le Tot Park.
And somebody wanted to know, what are the materials that were used? Like, did they use brushes or their fingers or like just a piece of manganese? How did they apply the colors to the limestone?
Yeah, it's an interesting and important question. Actually, in the workshop, you will see the tools or replicas of the tools they were using 20,000 years ago. They were using pencils, brushes, stencils. They could blow on the wall. That's quite simple. Try to imagine. It's not a lamp. It's the bone of a bird, empty bone, of course. I can put the pigments in this bone. I can blow on the wall.
Oh, wow.
And they weren't using their fingers. They were using tools because we are talking about modern people. They already had the tools we have still today.
Huh. Isn't it wonderful that human beings, for as long as we've known, have needed to create and enjoy art and make stories and narrative out of their world around them? Yeah.
Yes, that's amazing. As I told you, we don't know what it means. Actually, maybe I never told you why this cave has been painted. We don't know. We are talking about prehistory. Prehistory means no writing or reading. So I won't give you the truth about Lascaux, but you can discover your own truth in this cave. And as I told you, maybe there we have, well, their stories, their beliefs, but we are sure of one thing, as you said, Kathleen, beauty, something
Yeah.
modern in Lascaux.
Is the original cave used for scientific or academic research? Does anybody go into it anymore, or is it just totally closed up?
It's totally closed up.
So you can't even go
you
in as
cannot
a
fit.
scientist?
No, no. As a prehistorian, you cannot go inside. As a biologist, you can go inside to have a look on the biological state of the cave. But the cave receives few people during 1 year, less than 250 hours of human presence each year. And no one can see it, except, as I told you, the biologists who are allowed to see it. It's closed for everyone today.
Yeah. And somebody else wanted to know if we could make a link here to the video that we showed about Nouvelle-Aquitaine. We could share that in the shares. And is there anything else, Olivier, you'd like to tell us?
Well, it's always a pleasure to receive you here in Lascaux, and I hope we are going to meet in July with your family. We can adapt the tour to everyone. We love to receive family. And as I told you, it's going to sound strange, but we try not to talk a lot about prehistory or prehistory as a science. We talk about ourselves. And it's always a pleasure to receive kids here, because I receive a lot of kids in Lascaux, and they go inside the cave. The first thing they say, it's beautiful. I think it's the most intelligent thing you can say in Lascaux. It's beautiful. It doesn't talk to your brain. It talks to your heart, quite simply.
Well, it must be very hopeful to see kids love the beauty of it and love the history of it, especially right now.
It gives you hope, as I told you. But there is a French philosopher called Georges Bataille who said that we are quite sure of one thing: this cave has been made by happy people, because beauty brings happiness. And I do promise you, Kathleen, once outside, once you have seen Lascaux, you are happier than when you went in, because you know that you are a part of an amazing animal species, Homo sapiens. And that 20,000 years ago, we were already able to create masterpieces.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And hope to see you in July.
Yeah, we'll see you in July, and we can't wait.
With pleasure.
Thank you so much, Olivier.
You're welcome, Kathleen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, and have a good night.
This was
Thanks a lot, Kathleen.
Okay,
thanks.
ciao.
It has been a pleasure. Ciao.
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 Thank you, everyone, for coming. If you want to read more about the caves, we have stories on Frenchly.us about the Lascaux caves. In fact, we had a long piece written by somebody who visited, and about the Chauvet caves, and lots to do with Nouvelle-Aquitaine and Bordeaux and Limoges and Cognac, and all kinds of stories on Frenchly.us. So come visit us there, and we will be posting more stories and more videos about the region. Thank you for joining us today. We have 2 more minutes. If you have one last question you'd like to send, I can answer it here. And also in comments, we have our website as well.